Yeah,
the sun.
bro. I was very pleasantly surprised with Carlsbad and Vista. That area was really cool, man. It was like the last 2 years I've been thinking about just like L.A., San Francisco, how crazy it's been there, homelessness, all that.
Yeah.
Carlsbad was not like that. It was like, okay, this is legit. Like, this is really nice. It was cool, man.
Yeah.
So, well, dude,
Let's go.
let's do it. We're not gonna talk about anything specific other than just bullshit a little bit. Talk about your
Yeah.
story. Get it about
Who
like
knows
two
where this
fists,
gets to,
two
bro.
fists away from you.
Some random shit. Oh.
That mic, yeah,
Yeah, sorry.
yeah. No, you're good, bro. And then we'll talk a little bit like just about your story and like where you're going, what you're doing, how life is, you know, your goals, all that. Because it's been a while since. I mean, the first one that we did was in that back room, and then
Dude,
that
yeah,
was
no, this
when you
is
were
way
in Double
more-
A, I think, at that time. So
Kinda
a lot's
like
changed
this.
since then. So
Yeah, lots changed since then.
life's
yeah.
good.
Life's good.
We're on, right? Good.
Nice.
Dude. So, yeah, because that was how long ago was that? Like 5 years. Well, when were you in Double A? It was right before you got
right
called
before
up.
I got called up to the show. Yeah,
it was like a
in
month or
20, probably 2018, dude.
2018.
Yeah, so it was like
been
the
4
season
years.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was when I was staying here for the most part. Would ride up to Chicago, meet up with Mark Sheehan, pitching guy.
Yep.
And he would. That was
Out of
like
Naperville?
Out of Naperville.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was teaching me things that I'd never learned before of like body positioning, body balance, and just different like mechanical cues that I bought into. And turns out like after working with him and just like sticking to the routines that he had built for me, it I don't know if it mentally just like I believed in it so much and I convinced myself that it was going to work for me. It worked. Next thing you know, I'm throwing 97 in camp, and I haven't been throwing 97, ever. And it's like kind of just was perfect timing. And then we get to the show right away. It seems like it was a month into the season, and we kind of never looked back.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, for the few people who don't know you, and just to kind of give you a little perspective on what we're doing. On our show, it's basically just highlighting people from the region who are doing cool, positive things throughout the world. They've like you, obviously born and raised in Crown Point, went on, now you're a professional baseball player. I think there's only two others from the region, right? Sean Manaya, right?
Yeah,
and the
Mikey
dude
Brasso.
from Portage,
Mikey Brasso.
Yeah.
He went to Andrean.
And with Andran, yep. So
Yeah.
it's not often that you grow up with people playing professional in any realm, but Zach Plezak, starting pitcher for Cleveland Guardians now, right?
Yeah.
In the starting five rotation. I've had the honor of being, a good friend of yours but I was thinking about this on the way here. We talked about it this morning. We were golfing. But I was like, I think we were 9 when we met, 9 or 10, because it might have been 10, because right around that time was when I was playing seasons ball, and then I got into like Crown Point camps, and then I met like you, Ron, DK, Johnny,
Dude,
all those guys.
What was the practice we would go to out in the Four Seasons, and we would practice out there? It was like I remember Tommy Burton was out there,
Yeah.
Jeremy Briggs was out there.
Yep.
I forgot what team that was, but that was like around the first time where like, when you kind of get to the age where all the inner city kids start to mix together.
Yeah.
That's like kind of where we first met each other.
That was fun, dude.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Yeah, that was and then like All Stars, and then we combined, and then we started doing CP Select. But bro, it's been almost 2 decades that we've been friends.
That is nice.
That blew my mind earlier, because I was like, no, we met like later, because when you start playing to when, I think, to that period. I mean, it's been almost 20 years, bro.
That's crazy.
It's wild.
That's crazy.
But I'm grateful to for that time, for being your friend. Seeing everything that you're doing, man, is awesome. So yeah, for the 5 people who don't know who you are from Crown Point, you're starting pitcher for the majors. Last time we talked, like you said, it was like 4 years ago. You're going through the system.
Yeah.
Let's before we get into all that though, let's touch a little on your story, and then we'll talk like current stuff, what's going on,
Sure.
future, all that.
Absolutely.
So when you were growing up, is this what you wanted to do?
Yeah, I mean, it was set. This is what I wanted to do. I think as I got older, you kind of change your perspective on what's more fun, what's maybe more cool. I started playing basketball that I fell in love with, and then AAU was its own beast, and those experiences, traveling, staying in hotels, playing 8 a.m. basketball games, it was a different experience that I had fun with. And then football became a major part of my high school career. I think I didn't play until my junior year, and so I started falling in love with that. And I I think I knew at the end of the day baseball is what I wanted to do, and I was really just that's what I think is, we talk about just the mental space, and I think that freedom of not solely focusing on baseball and like dedicating myself so much to be so good at it, it kind of kept me I guess just kept my mind like open in other areas, and I was growing, like I was still a young kid, and I was just experiencing things and like failures and successes in different sports that helped me be a good baseball player. And I think though at the end of the day, like me and my family knew like baseball was going to be what was going to take me to the next level.
I think what's crazy too is like it's wild to think, but like all three of those sports, if when it started to happen, I was talking to Noah about this a little bit before you got here, but it was like sophomore year that third base role filled up, and you just took advantage. Like, and I told Noah, I'm like, dude, you're just a gamer. Like, things come up and you go after it. You never once think about what could go wrong. It's always how can this go right, and it's always the positive side. You took that advantage. You took that opportunity and ran with it. Like, if you would have had, I literally feel like in all three of those sports, you could have gone to the next level in all three of them. Which is what is so awesome, bro, because like that actually is a real thing. Like if it started to happen where you started to stand out like heavily in baseball, right? But you probably could have done all three, which is pretty wild. So
and that's it's crazy. Like I don't know if this is switching a gear on kind of perspective, but really like that was just a point of I wanted to be the best athlete. I wanted to be strong. I wanted to be in shape. I wanted to prove I had a six-pack when I went and worked out at P-Fit. And just like as I get older, I understand like just how important it is to be connected and aware of your body and the proprioception, which is like the awareness of your limbs and how you move. And I think that's kind of what's helped me succeed like in these sports. And as I get older, I understand that more. And I think you got to give credit to guys like Coach Garrett and and
I got a DM from him today.
The best. I talk to him on a regular basis.
That's awesome.
He just putting together programs for us to move athletically, and kind of even driving the mindset in us, like what it is to be tough and to be a dog and have that mentality. And a lot of schools and kids don't have that opportunity to have those people that really like push them and get them to believe in a common goal. And the things that I've gotten to achieve is a huge credit to people like that. You know what I mean?
Well, dude, let's touch early on because I had the benefit of seeing like from like we were 10 to seeing like your mind, your body, all that stuff grow, and you grow into the athlete that you are now. But one thing I always tell people, like as we learn more about, and I've spent the last 8-9 years learning about the mind and the power of your thoughts, all this stuff. One thing that you do naturally is and I've kind of alluded to it earlier, but like naturally, you see a challenge and you immediately look at it from the positive light, knowing like that belief that you said. I feel like, yes, we have those people around us, and like the Coach Garrett's and stuff like that, and Coach Strayer, all those people that instill belief in all the other coaches you've had along the way to get to this point. But early on, there's no doubt you had the advantage of a natural belief within yourself.
Yeah.
So like when I look back on my downfall in my athleticism growing up, it was my mind. Like I always naturally was negative. I had negative self-talk to myself. Like went to the point where like I'm never going to be big enough. I'm never going to be strong enough. I'm never going to be whatever it is. My mind always went to why things couldn't work out.
The awareness you need to have and the true impact you can make with yourself is like, look, I'm not good enough here in this area. And now you can come to senses with yourself and be like, this is what I need to get better at if I want to be as good as the rest of these people or be better than them. And it's hard to, because you see around you, the people you're competing against, and at the end of the day, you really just want to raise your potential and get the most out of yourself as you can. And it's easy to kind of like see other people and see what they're really good at, but that's almost like a glimpse of, that's almost like you compare it to Instagram when you go and see people short term and you're like, wow, these people are like really good, he made a really good play. But like day in and day out, if you spend the time with him every single day, then you'd be able to pick apart like, wow, I'm actually better than this person in this area. And then like when you come to understanding with that, your confidence goes through the roof. And I was just hearing I think it was Jazz Chisholm with the Miami Marlins was talking the other day, and it was kind of like he was saying he struggled at first, but then as soon as you start having a little bit of success, like something turns the corner for you, like your confidence starts building quick. So it's like, it's not completely digging yourself into a hole where you don't think you're good enough. You just got to have the awareness to figure out at what areas that you're not good enough in, and then work your ass off to be good at those.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you've always done that. You've always done that. I mean, I had the benefit of like doing a lot of those things along with you. So it's just so cool to see like the evolution of you. It's awesome, man. So in high school, probably about obviously your sophomore year started to turn that corner, got bigger, got stronger, got faster, got more athletic. You're like your body grew into your athletic ability, right? That's when you got big, and it was like, oh shit, Zach's getting there. And then like junior year, show out, senior year, show out. Like, when was it for you that you're like, okay, baseball?
I know exactly when it was.
Was it Chesterton?
It was my sophomore year.
Okay.
I was on the verge of making varsity, JV. I didn't know what was gonna go on. And
you and Ron were that was so fun, dude.
It was
so
us three.
Fun.
We were rolling, and then I wanted to play. So it started off in football though. My sophomore year, I got convinced. Shout out to Coach Pettit, a legend. Convinced me to play football, as I very well should have. And it was a whole thing of, should you do it? Is it going to be safe? You want to play baseball in college. Convinces me to play football. I'm enjoying it. And I go to practices, and, bro, I'm not strong enough. I'm not quick enough yet, and I go there and I'm playing JV. And I'm, like, kind of getting some dresses in varsity. And I was like, dude, screw this. I'm not trying to sit on JV, bro, and, like, not play. Like, I don't know why. I just couldn't take that. And my ego, or whatever you want to call it at the time, I quit like 4 games in the season. I'm like, I'm not sitting here watching these games on the Friday nights. So for some reason, I think it was that moment, I knew like I wasn't good enough to be doing that. And as soon as that ended, I took it straight to the gym and started training that whole time. From that point on, I started lifting with Andrew Brookman in P-Fit, and he was always much bigger, stronger, and he was a stud, man. And we would get after it, and we were good. We worked together. He pushed me. We pushed each other. Yeah.
And we had P-Fit our junior year. I had it with Drew. We were platform partners. So his senior year, it was awesome.
Dude, he really just is the one that was like pushing me to throw up weight, and I started gaining muscle, and then I fell in love with all of Coach Garrett's methods, and it's all until you understand him and how much he really cares and stuff. It's like, it's hard. I can see how it's hard to buy in, but once you buy into Coach Garrett, he's the most unbelievable mentor and the smartest people that we have teaching what he does, you know what I mean, around here for sure. So, I think it was really that sophomore year turning the corner to where like you knew junior year and senior year it was varsity only, and that's kind of when you had to show out, and it just kind of worked out like that.
Yeah. So at that point you're like, all right, this is the route.
Yeah.
Still playing basketball and football and did great, but it was baseball at that point. Okay. And then you go to Ball State, right? You get a shot at Ball State. Start kicking ass there, right? When was it at Ball State again that you're like, all right, the next level is attainable? It is there.
That's crazy. I could get on a crazy Ball State stingent here, but it really comes down to making sure like you don't lose who you are, especially when you're in a new area. And we were going through my first season at Ball State. We had like 12 freshmen come in, and it was a bunch of seniors that had kind of been there and they hadn't been winning, so it was this kind of conflict because there's like 12 and 12 almost. And we all meshed, and we ended up meshing really good, and we won the conference championship my freshman year. I was like national freshman pitcher of the year.
Yep, I remember that.
And
that was crazy.
There's just some things going on that I felt uncomfortable with that were happening for what I wanted for my future. I didn't think people were helping me in my best interest. Had a gut feeling, told my mom, I think I want to transfer. And she basically just didn't let me transfer. She said, you're not going to be one to leave something. You're going to finish what you started. And I look back at that now, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me. Sophomore year came after that good freshman season. I was starting to pitch on the weekends, like start on the weekends.
Mm-hmm.
Got some notoriety, went to the Cape League, and when I got to Cape Cod, I kind of was feeling some arm soreness, and I wasn't throwing as hard, and they had me repping in at center field. And the coach there was wanting me to stay and play center for him because they had a guy that was from Baylor who basically he was like he wasn't going to play and he wanted me to play center field. And I was down and I was fielding every day. I was hitting every day, just enjoying it, being in summer ball. And our head coach at Ball State turned it down. He said, you get hurt for whatever. Yeah, and so then I go through that summer. It's the fall. My junior year now, fall junior year, the pitching coach that I've had since I was a freshman decides to leave at Christmas. He was kind of sick of some shit going on, wanted a new opportunity. He actually moved to Crown Point, ironically.
No way.
It's the weirdest thing ever. So I don't really understand it, but it's all good. It's all love. For me, in my end, it's all love at the end of the day. He leaves, though. So then we get this new guy that comes in, Chris Fetter, who's now the pitching coach for the Detroit Tigers. And so he didn't know anything about me, and there's this kind of some speculation. I'm going to be the high recruit going out of Ball State. I'm, getting scouts coming to campus to speak to every week. And he didn't know what to think of me because Rich, the head coach, kind of built this perception of who I was. Whatever. I end up getting hurt. Fetter has my back. We were basically boys the whole time through. Mm-hmm. He believed in me. He trusted me. He kind of got some, I think, ill words about me that he didn't, they didn't think I was getting good grades. Mm-hmm. They didn't think I was going to class all the time. And don't get me wrong, I wasn't going to class all the time. Like, I didn't have A's. I was kind of B, C's. Mm-hmm. But, it got turned into this thing where I was looking like a delinquent or something. I was looking like I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. Whatever. I ended up getting drafted. So that junior season, I'm hitting in the middle of the lineup, and I'm pitching. So it's like the fourth game of the year. I'm pitching against Miami of Ohio. I throw a complete game shutout, 2 hits. Everything's great. I wake up the next day, elbow's locked up. Get to the field, try to play catch, can barely throw the ball from me to you away. I'm like, dude, I've never felt something like this before. I know something's wrong.
It was in the elbow?
In the elbow. And so, I went to the trainers, tried to rehab it for like 2 weeks, tried to make a couple starts, didn't go well. And so I went to Dr. Kremchek in Cincinnati, and my mom had called him, and he went out of his way to set up an appointment for that Monday. This was on a Saturday, like 2 days from now. And Jeff Gatch was my agent at the time, and he's the one who actually had a good relationship with him to kind of set it up. And we go there to get the MRI. It's partially torn. And now at this point, I'm still unaware because I don't know how the draft process works, dude. I'm really not super educated about the draft process. I haven't really been taught much about it. I just know I'm going to go ball out and hopefully get drafted. So Dr. Kremchek says you got a partial tear. And apparently the head coach at Ball State was trying to convince me to stay and hit for him. And, if I would have done that and tried to get drafted, you go through the physical process after you get signed, and they do MRIs, they check your whole body scan, make sure everything's good so they're not signing something like broken athlete. Yeah. So knowingly, I wouldn't get signed if I get drafted because I have a partial tear. He actually called Dr. Kremchek and tried to convince him to convince me to come back and hit. Meanwhile, he's not letting me hit BP before the games to get prepared. He thought, you could get hurt. It was just weird. It was just a weird dynamic going on, and I was having a hard time trusting people. And there's a bunch of other things, too, that had happened. I ended up confronting him and asking him about, what's going on. I just want to make sure we're on the same page. I'm trying to get out of here. I want to ball for you, and I want to get out of here and go live my dream out. That was the point of me even coming here, man. I don't know where the disconnect is. So he was upset. I got surgery. Dr. Kremchek said, this guy is trying to, whatever, you need to get surgery if you want to play in the big league, son. I get surgery. Didn't hear from head coach. Get drafted a month and a half later. Didn't hear from him. goes through a whole season, make it to the big leagues. Hey, man, hope everything's doing well with you. I'm so proud of how far you've come. Congratulations on all your success. So that whole college experience for me was kind of like, you got to fend for yourself, you know? And that's, I think, the point that's got me to where I am now is being able to understand what's important and what my values are, and it's been hard finding trust, bro, you know? Like, even people that I know I can trust who are responsible for what happens to me in my career, it's hard to trust people, you know? We were talking about this today on the golf course about being selfish, you know, and not being greedy, but having that awareness of like what's important and what you care about and sticking true to that. So I think that's really what happened since all of that went down. I ended up graduating. You know, I got drafted in a sling because I had surgery a month and a half before the draft. And we were at Turkey Run with my cousins and didn't have any cell service. To get drafted, go straight out to Arizona, and I mean, at the end of the day, like, it all worked out, you know. So it's all the good things came from what positive we held on to, you know what I mean? Because there could have been vendettas held, or I could have been so upset and slammed, but it's not about any of that, you know. It's just more about doing what's right. And keeping those values like held strong. You know, something I've been doing more of since I've been in the big leagues and have a little bit more of a platform, but I'm teaching young kids yoga and the Boys and Girls Club, and these people and children who are in unfortunate situations, and it's so easily for them to focus or be able to like tell what's negative and what's not going well in their life, and kind of hold on to that and be depressed and live life as, you know, sad, you know, in a sadness way. And it's all about quality of life, and that's what I want to help give people and help people create for themselves. So it's this new thing I'm doing it's yoga with Plesac's pals. And we bring the kids to the field and we give them yoga mats, and we just go through a simple yoga stretch. We put them in like frog pose, the rock pose, you know, like the dolphin, like we do all sorts of fun stuff. So that's really cool.
So we're what, 3 years into the majors now? 4?
I debuted May 2019.
In Boston?
May 28, 2019. That's 4 years ago.
Great day. Yeah, just over 4 years ago. Wait, May 20th, 2019?
3 years ago.
Just over 3 years ago. That was awesome. That was electric,
crazy.
Dude.
My next start's in Boston, too, on Monday.
I know, man. It's sick. I know. Dude, I remember that day where it was like, Plezak just got called up first games in Fenway.
Yeah.
We were like, yeah, we're going.
This is wicked, dude. So I
don't
even know if I want to tell this story on the air, dude, because this is wild. But, dude, I might as well tell it. Fuck it, dude. We're here, like, you know, like, it's all about the stories, dude. Honestly, I'd been working with Mark Sheehan, and we figured things out. Like, we got to a point where I was throwing gas, and I had like a 26 inning scoreless streak in Double-A.
That was sick.
Dude, you know, as controversial this topic is, marijuana is something was illegal for minor leaguers when I was in the minor leagues. Ironically, the year I get called up to the big leagues, they're like, everybody can smoke marijuana. And, you know, not to make it like a joking topic, but there are times when, you know, you just want to kind of relax and catch a vibe when you're out in some BFE apartment in the middle of Ohio. You're trying to just, you know, kick it for the night. Every 40-man guy on the 40-man roster was allowed to say smoke marijuana. And I wasn't on the 40-man at the time, but a guy I lived with was. And he had one of those vaporizers, and every 2 weeks I would plan it out. I would like take a puff or two maybe, and just be in a good chilling spot. We'd make some dinner, and I'd go to bed, and I'd wake up and be in a great spot. Ironically enough, the morning after I had ripped this little vape, dude, we had a day game in Erie, Pennsylvania, and the drug test comes to the field. And for me, you know, so I'm in all-out panic. Like, I think I'm going to fail, whatever. So I'm calling my agent at the time, and I had to, like, reach out to the front office and be like, hey, guys, dude, this is what's going on. I just want to be honest with you guys. I'm not like, doing anything. Like, I'm not trying to be out here. I'm not being a stoner, and I'm not doing anything reckless. I just want to I'll be up front with you guys so you completely know what's going on. Transparency, right? Let's just all be on the same page. Okay, just, thanks for telling us. And that was it, right? So I was like, all right, whatever. I feel okay about it, but 2 weeks from now, they're probably going to call me and I'm going to be suspended. I don't know. So it's like 2 weeks go by. Well, and then that was in the morning of the game, before the day game. Then we go through the whole game. I'm sweating the whole game, freaking out. As soon as the game ends, they tell me I'm promoted to AAA. I was like, all right, cool.
All right.
This is sick. I was like, whatever. I'm about to get popped in 2 weeks anyway. Like, fuck it. I'll go make the most of it while I'm here. I don't know. And so I'm in AAA for not even 2 weeks. It was probably like 12 days. Made my third start. 2 weeks, right on the dot. And I knew it was the day I woke up. I'm like, this is the second week from when this happened. I'm like, I'm preparing myself when I go into the field today. I might be in trouble. I don't really know. So go to the field, kind of like keeping it cool. And before we even went out to stretch, the pitching coach came out to me. He's like, hey, like, before you go out to stretch today, like, let's have a meeting. He never did that ever, and I've known the pitching coach who was there at the time previously, and we've never, I was like, all right. So I met him before. We went through our, like, a little spreadsheet. He asked me my strengths and weaknesses. He asked me, what do you think I need to improve the most on? What do you think I helped the team the most with? And blah, blah, blah. And so I'm going through the whole thing, and I'm like, boom, aced it. I thought I killed it. And then he's like, awesome. Thank you. Tony Manzolino wants to talk to you now. And he was the manager. Intimidating guy. Such a good dude. Super smart, real down to earth, but just like well respected, So I was like mad nervous, sweating like crazy. I go into the office and I'm like, this is it, This is when they tell me, like, I'm popped.
It's done.
Yeah. So then I go into the office and he's like, you can go ahead and take a seat. And I told him, no, like, I'm good. I'll stand. Just like trying to be like, it's all good. I'll wear this, And he told me that it's the first time in my career that a move at the big league level was going to affect what happens to me. And I was like, what does that mean? I'm going back to AA? And he just said, yeah. And he like gave it a second. He's like, no, you're getting the rental car up to Cleveland. You got a flight to catch to Boston. You're pitching at Fenway on Monday. Bro, and I melted. I melted, dude, in my chair. And I thought like the world was going to end because whatever. And then next thing you know, I'm pitching in Fenway. So
next thing you know, your dream's coming alive.
Yeah. So then I like got up, opened the door, dude. I was like, whatever. And, now it was just a weird dynamic because at the time, that was only in the minor leagues. That was something some guys had to worry about.
Yeah. And
got to the big leagues and, no one said anything about it. And it was all you got to do is show up, do your work. Obviously, don't be an idiot, be responsible. But it was crazy how that whole like series of events turned out when I thought I was going down, and then they like picked me up, and then like I started like levitating somehow.
That's awesome, man. What about advice for young kids, man, that have the same dream? What's your advice for those out there that have that same dream as you?
Yeah, I think it's finding your support system is one. If your parents or if you don't have anybody, you're going to have to find the way yourself. If you can find somebody who's really close to you or another friend or a parent or uncle, someone who would be down to go work with you or really just have fun playing the game and go enjoy it. I think if they want to be in the big leagues, you just got to continue to work because it's like you hear it all the time. It's attainable, but only if you're willing to make sacrifices and only if you're really willing to commit to what it takes to do it, and only if you're doing that or not. So along the way, I've lost friends, I've lost contacts with family, a lot of, not even family, but just like people that I don't get to see as much anymore, coming home, just everything's different and you got to be ready for all that and be able to handle it because it's not easy, what I mean? And you can't really sugarcoat things like this. It's a full-time commitment.
Mhm.
A full-time commitment. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
Gnarly.
I have no idea what that's like. So it's wild. It's cool to hear your story, man. It's cool to
Yeah.
hear what you're going through. I'm sure we'll hop on again in a few months. Anything else you wanted to talk about and touch on?
Yeah. No, I mean, just seeing what you're doing is crazy. You're
Thanks,
in
man.
the same level, bro.
Thank you.
You're a big leaguer, bro. Really.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that.
just to see the things that are happening around town,
Mhm.
and dude, I don't know. It's always cool to come back and see people who grew up with, and just to see where their minds have taken them, dude, and what's important. Like, you know, just what everyone's up to.
Yeah.
It's just dope. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Hop on whenever you're home, man.
that's sick.
Whenever you're here. We'll just keep these rolling.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, bro. Appreciate you coming on. Where's the game at? They're in Chicago, right? So then,
Yeah.
what do you guys play on? WG? No, they don't play at WGN.
I think it'll be on Bally.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Bally Sports.
Sweet. All right, man. Appreciate you hopping
Good
on, bro.
stuff.
Thanks, man.
Bye, dude.
Cool. Thanks, Noah.